All right, let's talk about phrasal verbs. They can be one of the trickiest parts of learning English, but they're absolutely everywhere. Today, we're going to demystify them for good. Have you ever been totally confused by something like this? I mean, how can one little phrase mean two completely different things? It's a classic phrasal verb puzzle, right? Well, don't worry, because by the end of this, you're going to have it all figured out. The best way to learn these isn't by memorizing a giant, boring list. It's by seeing them in action. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow a story, which is a fantastic way to make these verbs really stick in your memory. So let's meet our main character, Alex. Alex is working hard, probably just like a lot of us, and is dreaming of a much-needed vacation. But before any trip can happen, you need a plan. And this is exactly where our story begins. Okay. Here's Alex's simple 4-step plan. First things first, to save up some money, Alex has to cut back on spending. Makes sense. Next, it's time to look into some good travel deals. Then, Alex needs to look up specific information about places that look promising. And finally, to keep everything straight, it is essential to write down all the important details. See how each step just flows right into the next, using a new phrasal verb each time? Let's just quickly lock in what these mean. So cutting back on something is just reducing it. Less coffee, fewer impulse buys. Looking into something means you're investigating it, doing your research. And writing down? Well, that's simple. You're just putting pen to paper so you don't forget. Okay, now here is a fantastic example of how one tiny change makes a huge difference. When we say a situation is looking up, it means it's getting better, it's improving, but when you look something up, you're searching for information. That little object, the something, gets tucked right into the middle of the verb, and boom, it totally changes the meaning. Let's see this in action. So, Alex had to look up visa information online and write down all the details, all while hoping their financial situation would also start to look up. See that? Both meanings fit perfectly into a single sentence. Pretty cool, huh? After all that planning, the big day is finally here. Woo! Alex is all packed up and heading to the airport. So let's jump into the next part of our story and see a whole new set of verbs come into play. 2 absolutely essential actions at any airport. First, you have to check in. That's where you register, get your boarding pass. And second, you always have to look after your luggage. That just means taking care of it and making sure it stays safe with you. And here we are, back to our original question. The mystery is solved. When a plane takes off, it leaves the ground. But when you take something off, like your jacket, you're removing it. It's all about the context and whether that little word something is in there. What a difference. Let's paint the full picture here. So after Alex manages to check in, the plane is ready to take off. Once they're on board, it gets a little warm, so Alex takes off their jacket, all while making sure to look after their bags. It's a perfect little airport scene, and it's all told with our phrasal verbs. Touchdown! Alex has arrived and is ready to start exploring. This is where the real adventure kicks off, bringing with it a whole new set of interactions and, you guessed it, new phrasal verbs. When you're exploring a new place, the best discoveries are often the ones you weren't looking for. That's exactly what it means to come across something, to find it totally by chance. So Alex actually has plans to meet up with a friend. When you arrive where someone is waiting for you, you show up. It's the perfect verb for meeting people. So picture this. Alex's friend doesn't show up on time. A little frustrating, right? But while waiting, Alex starts wandering around and just happens to come across this amazing, fascinating street market. It's a happy accident, and it all happened because someone was running late. So, in the market, Alex's curiosity just takes over. You know that feeling when you see some clothes you really like? You've got to try them on. And what about a cool, mysterious logo on something? You can't help but wonder what it stands for or what it represents. And that's exactly what happens in our story. Alex finds a really cool shirt and wants to try it on. The shirt has this neat logo, and after asking the vendor, Alex learns that the logo stands for a collective of local artists. How cool is that? It's a real moment of cultural discovery. Okay, let's introduce another really useful verb, to make something up. This basically means to invent a story or an excuse, something that isn't exactly true. It's something we might all be tempted to do in an awkward situation. And for our very last verb, we've got a social one, to go out with someone. Now, this one specifically means to date or be in a romantic relationship with them. It's the perfect verb to bring our little story to a very happy conclusion. And this is where the story takes a fun, romantic turn. Alex meets someone new, and for a second worries they'll have to make something up to explain their day. But turns out there's no need for that. They hit it off immediately, and eventually they start to go out with each other. A perfect end to the trip. So there you have it. Alex's journey from planning a trip to finding romance has given us a complete set of really useful phrasal verbs. So let's do a quick recap and put all these new tools into your personal toolkit. And here it is, your complete toolkit. Look at that. We've covered everything from planning the trip, like when you cut back on spending, all the way to the airport with verbs like check in and take off. We saw how Alex's adventure led to coming across new things and even going out with someone new. I'd pause here and take a screenshot. This is your go-to guide for all of these verbs. Okay, now it's your turn. I've got a challenge for you. How could you use these verbs to write down what you did today? Seriously, the best way to make them stick is to start using them in your own stories. Give it a try. Thanks for joining me.